What's going on, everybody? Welcome. I'm Legionnaire. How you doing? Welcome to the channel. Today we're here talking about Halo Reach. Look back at what was Bungie's swan song to their Halo series before they went on to do Destiny, which took up, oh god, half my life the last 10 years. Jesus. Played so much Destiny, guys. But we're not here to talk about Destiny. We're here to talk about Halo Reach and Noble Team. So, without further ado, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you go down there and hit that subscribe button. Check out the link below for the Twitch. I'm usually streaming around 3 p.m. Eastern almost every day, about 4 or 5 days a week. So, shall we get into it? Halo Reach. My god. Released in 2010. I don't remember the date, so don't ask me. But I was there. I was there 3,000 years ago when Halo Reach launched. So it took place before the Halo 1, Halo 2, Halo 3. And it was actually taking place seconds before Halo 1, which is crazy. I didn't know that myself. I knew it was, taking place just like kind of before Halo 1. But I didn't know how far back it went. But it was crazy because it had a bunch of features that you've never seen before. It tried to change up the formula, So let's get into the campaign, shall we? Noble Team. You play as Noble 6, who's been recruited by the Noble Team because they lost their sixth person. I don't know who it was. I don't think they ever say who was the sixth member. So you start off as Noble Team. You land on Reach and you get to see the planet. The opening is beautiful. Marty O'Donnell killing it with the music. Then you meet the team. So on the team you had George, Carter, June, Emil, and Kat. They were sent to Reach to figure out what's going on. Why are the communications down? What's happening? They're tasked with figuring out, getting the survivors out of this area. So you spend this mission, trying to figure out what's going on here. You talk to a few people. You find out that it's the Covenant. You find out that the Covenant are on the planet. You're sent to Dr. Halsey. Who's Dr. Halsey? She is the creator of the Spartan program. She helped create the Spartan soldiers, Spartan 117, Master Chief himself, and the AIs. Now, I don't know all the, big details or anything like that, so I might be missing a few details here. Arguably a terrible person because, she took children, as you see in some of the side Halo movies that they've done or shows, and the kids were taken when they were young and they were turned into Spartans, but you're sent to get her and you go through Sword Base. So after you meet with Halsey, you're sent after this Covenant invasion, trying to stop the invasion of Reach. There's this huge battle that takes place. It's a crazy scene. They got a bunch of warthogs, a bunch of tanks going on. It's pretty awesome. After that, a huge Covenant cruiser shows itself. And you end up having to go up there. They send you to go up there with George, who's pretty cool. They send you up there with George to destroy the ship or figure out how to disable it or something. While they took a bomb up there, unfortunately, George had to stay behind. Now, the structure of the missions is, I think, pretty good because they send you on a different variety of missions with some of the teammates so that you can get used to some of them. They all have their own kind of personalities and they try to come across as distinct but still strictly military. They're not like, super jokesters or anything. They're serious military men and women who have a job to do because there's a huge invasion taking place. I mean, come on. And I like some of them. I like how Emil messes with George a little bit. I like how George, is a little more sensitive, especially to the girl that they find in the first mission. Carter is serious, strict leader. Kat, a little bit more sarcastic. She's got a jokey side to her, like a dark sarcasm kind of thing. You get sent on this really cool sniper mission. It's at night and it's very reminiscent of Halo 1, which we'll get into next week. You end up going through some of the areas on Reach. You get to see some of the wildlife. You get to see this big monster with like tusks. When we get there though, they go down like super easy, even on Legendary. I would have liked them to be a little bigger. They kind of remind me of the Rancor from Star Wars, if you guys have ever seen that. Oh my god, on Legendary, I died so many times fighting hunters, just trying to get a checkpoint. So once this Covenant thing shows up, the ship, you and George are sent to the ship to destroy it. You end up going into space. This is like the first time I remember, in any of the Halo games, you being able to fly a ship in a mission like that. You're in space. It was like X-wing, you know, X-wing versus TIE fighter or something. It was awesome. I remember doing that mission, and I'm not very good at those games, so I don't play them very often. But I just thought they were sick. The whole mission was pretty cool. You're fighting off these invasions from the Covenant. The Banshees are coming around. Oh my god, on Legendary, I died so many times. Believe me, it was crazy. But I love that mission. And I like the mission that ensues next on the Covenant ship because it also reminds me of other Halo games. So after you leave this ship, you leave poor old George there. He gives you the dog tags and it's all sad. He just kind of pushes me off the ship. You kind of just fall down to the planet, I think. I guess, you know, all the Spartans can do that, you know, because they got the helmets. So it's not really a big worry for them. But now, unfortunately, after you destroy this, George stays behind to save Reach. But right after, a huge armada shows up of the Covenant, like way more. So his death was useless. He thought he was dying to save the planet. And even Carter remarks it, you know, and it's just sad. And you see every mission from this point on is like everything just keeps getting worse and worse. From here, Noble Team is sent to assist with the city defense and evacuate that city. You reunite with Noble Team. Once the cutscene starts, like I remember Cat walking and I was shocked when I first saw this because they just kill her right there. Just she gets sniped and it looks like, I swear this looks like a Needler shot. If it is, it's kind of sad to die from one Needler shot. So I think she could have gone out with a little more fanfare, but it was sad to see her get killed in that way. This game has beautiful shots. Let me tell you, every cutscene, like they got some beautiful shots, people standing, you know, the dog tags falling in the hand. That's a great one. Seeing her get killed, like the sun, or it was like moonlight or something shining. Now from here, you end up having to go back to Sword Base for Halsey. She's got something precious that needs to go. Something that they needed the Spartans to deliver. And that was a new AI called Cortana. One that they said could help save the war. Now, I don't know why they place so much importance on Cortana alone. I don't know. I don't know. I never read the books. I know there's a Fall of Reach book that I never read. So but they made an animated movie about it. Maybe I should read that one day. But yeah, you sent down and you have to do like these waves. The Covenant keep trying to come after you, and they're just sending like, man, crowd after crowd after you. Especially on Legendary, I got my ass handed to me in this level, so I had to like utilize all the weapons. Thankfully, they give you a lot of weapons. They give you a jetpack. Like they got these turrets that help you out too. And you kind of have to go around and turn the turrets back on. You don't have to. If I was on normal, I wouldn't have even freaking cared. But on Legendary, they really helped me out. So if you're playing Legendary, I recommend trying to hide behind the rocks and turning the turrets back on. And then I hid behind the turret and was able to kill a bunch of enemies doing that. Now, at this point, once we finish this mission, June leaves with Halsey. I don't remember that my first time playing through. Is he like the only one that survives? That's I thought that was interesting because everybody else dies except for June. He leaves with Halsey. I wonder what his story is. Where is he still alive? Is he still around? What's going on with June? Is he a retired sniper or something? I mean, Spartans don't really retire, right? So now this is when we get towards like the end of the game. Everything's getting bleaker. Every time you fight up against the Covenant, there's more and more Covenant coming. It's like they have an endless supply. You know, it's crazy. And you're sent to the Pillar of Autumn. Now, the Pillar of Autumn is an important ship. It's the one from Halo 1 in the beginning. And like I said, this leads into Halo 1. So you're sent after the Pillar of Autumn with Carter and Emil. And you're the only ones left. Everybody else has been picked off or left. It's an important mission to get Cortana off the planet. And on the way, you see like a bunch of Scarab landing. It's nuts, like 2 or 3. And I'm like, oh my God, we got to fight these things. Remember, Halo 3 had 2 Scarab fights. One with 1 Scarab, one with 2 Scarabs. Halo 2 had that one with the bridge, you know? So I thought we were going to have to fight them. Turns out not. Unfortunately, this is when Carter sacrifices himself as well. The leader of the team. It's just me and Emil after this. And I kind of liked Carter, even though he's super bland. He's just a leader guy, you know, doing his job. But, you know, seeing the whole team just fall off like that, it was it was different for Halo because usually the Spartans are like, Master Chief has always saved the day. He's always been the best. Nobody's ever beaten him. Here they're doing the best they can, but they can't stop like a massive invasion force. So he stays on the Pelican and he goes to distract them while me and Emil get out of town. We get out of Dodge and we head to the final area of the game. You're on this mission here. It's got like an anti-air gun, and you're supposed to defend the Autumn. Emil is on the ship, and while you're about to go with the Autumn, wouldn't that be crazy if Noble Six was there when Chief woke up? And he was actually a character in the series, but he's not. Emil gets killed on the gun, and you have to take over. Getting through this area with the elites. Some of them have swords, some of them have guns. Oh, I died like a million times on Legendary. My God. And once the Autumn gets out of orbit, that's it. They fly away, and you're done. You save them. That's the end of the story. I love the ending. It's the beginning of Halo 1. When you see the Pillar of Autumn show up out of nowhere in hyperspace, and they see the Halo ring, and Cortana's like, or Keyes is like, we made a blind jump. Where are we? And it's a perfect ending. And of course, for anybody who doesn't know, but most people who are watching this probably know already, if you look to the left, you can see Chief, and I missed it on my Legendary playthrough, but you can see Chief there in the cryo sleep. It's awesome. It's a great Easter egg. I love it. I love this campaign. It's a great send-off to the series. It's not too long. It's not too short. And it's does something different that Halo hasn't done yet. You worked with the Marines. You worked with the captains, but you never worked with other Spartans. Unless you count Halo Wars. And I do. Halo Wars is canon, so. But I love this whole team dynamic, and I would have loved to see more. I would have loved to see squad commands or something. Maybe they could have added something like that. But I'm pretty sure they didn't want to make it too complicated. The story is about the Spartans falling, so if you would have balanced yourself against, squad commands, then by the end of the game, there would be no squad commands because the squad's gone. They give you adequate time with some of them, but you just don't really get enough backstory on them. You just don't really know much about all these characters. And I would have loved to see a little more of their personality. And that's the Halo Reach campaign. I still love it to this day. I still play it. If you're looking for a good Halo story, this is a great one because it's like it bookends the Halo series. And it leads into what is one of the best trilogies ever. Now, on to the multiplayer. Let's talk. When Halo Reach came out, people loved it, but it was very divisive. Why? They really changed up the formula a little bit. They did. They got rid of the BR and they added the DMR, and they said that the BR would break balance, I think. I'm pretty sure that's confirmed, but don't hold me to it 100%. They added Spartan abilities that you could add to your loadout. They added loadouts. That was interesting. At this point in time, you got to remember, Call of Duty was dominating. Modern Warfare 2, this 2010, when this came out, it was Black Ops, I think. So, Modern Warfare 2 already blew up the world. Black Ops was even doing better. So they took a few things from there. And this was, trying to diversify the multiplayer. It still had the usual suspects, your sniper, shotguns, sword, assault rifle, pistol, a bunch of different Covenant weapons, grenade launcher. They added a grenade launcher. And I thought that was cool in the beta, but I still don't know how to use it correctly. So I kind of hate the grenade launcher because it never kills anything. It never kills anything, chat. I'm telling you. They had a good number of maps, and they had some really good ones and some ones that I didn't like personally. A lot of us ended up playing a lot of time on Boardwalk, a lot of time on Sword Base. Boneyard was a good one. They had a few classics return in DLC lists, which I thought was cool. But overall, I thought the multiplayer maps worked well with the game. They moved them around a little bit, and they didn't really bring any classics back until the Halo CE anniversary. The balance was good, I think, but there was a lot of things that people didn't like. Specifically, some of the Spartan abilities that you could use. Most likely, you probably heard a lot of people talking about the Spartan armor lock. This destroyed vehicles if you held it down and a vehicle was coming at you. A lot of people used it to get out of situations, and I can see why people got frustrated by that. The jetpack was also a source of contention for a lot of people. The jetpack caused a lot of problems for people online. They used to just call them jetpackers. I did too. I'm guilty. I used to be like, freaking jetpackers. God, always using the jetpack. You're lame. And it was a part of the game, so I should have never done that. But yeah, this kind of changed up the formula a little bit, and people were less than receptive. I think, you know, with some refinement, I think it could have worked. And they did do updates and balance changes a little bit, but not too much. They were already moving on. Once Bungie left, that was it. 343 took over, and they were busy working on Halo CE Anniversary, Halo Reach, like updating it and adding new maps. Also Halo 4, which was coming out in 2012. So they were busy. So I think, doing so many excessive updates was just out of the question, especially once Halo 4 got rolling around in 2011 and they were like a year away. But overall, I really enjoyed the multiplayer, but it couldn't keep my attention. I played it for after launch, I played it for at least all the way up until Halo 4's release. I did. But I always interspliced it with Call of Duty. I always interspliced it with other games like Battlefield. Bad Company 2 was blown up at that time. Battlefield 3 was going crazy. So it was a time when Halo was a little bit on the decline. But as a hardcore fan, a lot of people stuck around. And I did. I always came back to it eventually. I love the rank system for Halo Reach. The rank system was the Halo 3 ranks plus more. They had like a whole bunch more ranks that just made no sense, like Moon rank and Eclipse rank, and it was awesome though. It was cool, and it was meant for people to, whoever was grinding the game, to just keep ranking up and stuff. I don't remember having a rank system though, like a rank system, like a rank playlist or anything. I could be wrong. The armor, the Reach armor set was very cool because you gained XP. I think it was the XP you used to unlock armor. It was like you use points pretty much to buy the armor. You could buy, like, you didn't have to wait to get to a certain level to get this armor piece or that armor piece. I loved using the classic Halo 1 helmet in Halo Reach. They had a lot of good Halo armor in that game. One of the things about the Spartans is they were still kind of Halo 3 Spartans, but they were really beefy. I always thought it was funny. Like I looked at them and they looked like they were stretched out Spartans because they were so wide. They were big and thick, and chunky. And while there's nothing wrong with Spartans like that, I just thought it was like, wow, they really made them bigger. Same thing for the elites. I forgot to talk about the elites in the campaign, man. The elites are huge. They had this invasion mode where you could do elites versus Spartans, and the elites were massive. They were like 8-10 feet tall and shit. They were thick. People think it's 343 that changed the elites up. It was Bungie, even though Bungie changed them, but still retained their original mouth and legs and stuff. 343 changed all that, and thank God they went back in Halo Infinite. We can see they've made the smaller elites more prominent. There you go. So yeah, I loved the elites in the campaign, and I liked the elites in the multiplayer. Unfortunately, it was only Halo 3 and I think Halo 2 that let you play as elites, like in everything. I don't think Halo Reach let you do that, and I don't know why. Why? There's like a thing against the elites, not in multiplayer anymore. Even 343 doesn't do it. Is it like a balancing issue? Why is it not just the same gameplay, but as an elite? Just a different UI color or something. So I don't know what the whole deal is. Is it because, if they're too big, then they have a bigger target? If they're too small, they're a smaller target, so it's an advantage. But yeah, I gotta say, I enjoyed Reach a lot. I enjoyed the campaign. I enjoyed the multiplayer a great degree, and I played it for years to come. I wasn't able to get all the map packs, but that's just because I was young. I was a teenager, and I didn't spend my money wisely. So I didn't end up getting the map packs until like Halo MCC. I got like one map pack, I think, for Halo Reach, and it had some cool maps. But I still think to this day, I think Halo Reach's multiplayer still holds up amongst the other Halo games. It's never going to be Halo 2 or 3, but I like the movement of it a little more. The one thing I don't like is the bloom. The bloom was terrible at launch, and I think they nerfed it. I can't tell anymore because it's been so long since I've seen the original Halo Reach. But people hated the bloom. That was another thing. The bloom was terrible, especially in the DMR. you know? So they ended up, I think, nerfing that. It left a little stain though. All these things combined to sort of bring Halo Reach a little more down in the notch than Halo 3, which is more simpler and had a unified design with their multiplayer like strategy. And that's multiplayer. I definitely recommend playing it on MCC if you haven't. Back when it came out, the whole game was blurry. It was at 30 FPS, and my God, one of the things I didn't like about the game was how blurry it was. It looked like Vaseline was like smeared all over the screen, just all over the screen. And thankfully, Halo MCC with the remaster, it looks so good and it plays good. 60 FPS, even more if you're on PC or on Series X. And nowadays is, you know, it's very worth playing. Unfortunately, you get it a little too much on multiplayer, and I kind of get sick of it. I'm like, all right, I've had enough of Reach. I want a regular BR, please. A regular assault rifle. Now, let's get into the last two topics. Forge and Firefight. Yes, Forge and Firefight. Forge was a whole nother bag with Halo Reach. They really took it another step. They gave you this huge canvas called Forge World. And you could do anything you wanted on there. It was huge. It was like a map, not a map on Elder Scrolls. That's pretty exaggerated. I would say it's like three levels put together, 3 big levels put together, big open terrain. It was probably the best Forge at the time, which has since been dethroned. But I did a lot of Forge on Halo 3. We'll talk about that when we get to Halo 3. Going on to Reach, man, you could do anything on there. It was a huge area. I don't remember if you could do Forge on the other maps. I assume you can. But because they're not made for Forge, they're kind of just, you know, filled with stuff. This was made for Forge. And a lot of people used it. A lot of people used the custom browser. I remember a lot of people uploading their maps and custom game modes. I did customs with a lot of friends back then, man. But yeah, Forge World, you know, you could do a lot more than you could in Halo 3. They fixed a lot of geometry issues, a lot of blending issues. You had to do some tricky stuff in Halo 3 to get it to blend items together. You know, it was different at that time, but Halo Reach really changed it up and added more to that. Firefight, I've never been big on Firefight. You know, it's a PvE mode, a horde mode, really, which was made popular by Gears of War, where you're on this map and you just fight like waves of Covenant coming at you. You get enough of that in the campaign, let me tell you. I didn't play too much Firefight, but I enjoyed it. They had a lot of areas from the campaign, and if you had friends, you could do it. One of the worst things about it, though, is for me, I remember a lot of network connection issues. It was crazy. A lot of problems trying to party up with people. So I didn't really play it much because it had that issue. ODST had the same freaking issue. So Forge and Firefight, I think they're definitely worth checking out. So if you ever want to check out Halo Reach's Forge, definitely check it out in Halo MCC. You should be able to access it there. I can't guarantee, I don't remember. I haven't messed with Forge in a long time myself. And the Firefight, you know, while it wasn't my bag and it had a lot of internet issues, I still think it was a fun mode to have. You know, if you have friends who want to just do some PvE and kill some Covenant and you don't want to go through the campaign, that's what Firefight's for. It's perfect. And that's Halo Reach, guys. I have a lot of fond memories of playing this game. I have a lot of fond memories of raging, of playing with the team, you know, and even though this was the beginning of Halo going a little more down, you know, I still think it's one of the best entries in the series. It's worth giving a shot today. You know, if you're looking for a good Halo experience, maybe, you know, you don't want to be tied down with Master Chief's campaign, which is going through all 5 and Infinite games. You just want to play like a cool military story, then that's what Halo Reach will do for you. The multiplayer, you're going to get it on MCC, and a lot of people love it. Some people don't like it, but nowadays it fits well with the rest of the games, you know. You have all 3 original games. You have Reach, ODST, and 4 on Master Chief Collection. And Reach is important. They used it as their final game. This was Bungie's, you know, last game in the series, and that'll never change. I don't know if Bungie would ever come back, but I highly doubt it. Especially since they're not the same Bungie that was before. This is not the same team, trust me. But that's going to do it for me, everybody. That's Halo Reach. I love the campaign, love the multiplayer. I liked spending a lot of time on Forge and playing some of the custom games. And I definitely recommend you give it a shot on MCC. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. I'm Legionnaire. Have a good night.